From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
American Door Company has been family-owned and operated for over 29 years, supplying Northern California with quality garage doors, garage door openers, and installed with the best service you'd expect from a locally owned company. We serve all of Northern California from Willows all the way up to the Oregon state line. Give us a call today.
Happy Friday morning to you all. You know, the weekend is almost here. Christmas is almost here. I'm excited because I've got the weekend off as usual. But I'm also taking Monday off, taking Christmas Day off. I've got Brian Wilson filling in for me on Christmas Day, so be on the lookout for that. I'll be back right here on next Tuesday. So got to get through today, though. Let's get through today. And if we do have more fog this morning in some areas, it's been dense in some areas along the coast. Once again, in northern Siskiyou County, there's also a dense fog advisory for parts of Butte and Glenn County southward into Sacramento this morning. So if you're traveling southward this morning, be prepared for the potential for some fog out there. And, you know, some of that fog was pretty persistent in some areas yesterday. We could be looking at the same again here for today. But we do have a couple, minus a few weak disturbances, one today, one again on Sunday. It's fairly dry for most of us through the weekend and even into the first few days of next week, including Christmas Day. So dry conditions are most likely expected. Wet weather may return by around the middle of next week. And I am seeing a bit of a wet weather pattern coming in toward the end of this month, and not to mention going into next month as well, next year. But I'm not seeing anything that just is alarming as far as the amount of rainfall, the intensity of a storm system coming in. We are seeing kind of one system after another coming in, but we're seeing big breaks between these storms. So you see a little bit of rain, you see a break for a few days, then you see more rain, and then that trend looks like it may continue. We'll take a look at that trend here in a second, but I do want to show that dense fog advisory this morning. As I mentioned, for Glenn and Butte counties southward into Sacramento, that doesn't mean we won't see any patchy fog for parts of the valley northward towards Red Bluff and Redding, but the dense fog is going to be reserved for our neighbors to the south, especially as you get closer to Sacramento, not to mention up into Siskiyou County. And again, there has been some dense fog even along the coast, and not to mention a lot of the inland and mountain valleys. So let's get you through the day today, and this is what it looks like in the valley. Mostly sunny sky. It's going to be a gorgeous day. We got in the upper 60s yesterday in the valley. I'm expecting mid-60s for today. For Siskiyou-Modoc County, probably looking somewhere in the upper 40s to low 50s later on this afternoon. And there you can see for the eastern mountains, also looking at some of that patchy fog here in the morning. Let's take a look at your forecast for the north coast. And I've got this slight chance for showers. Now, anything we see is not going to be a plan breaker, all right? So if you got plans outdoors, nothing to worry about even on the coast, but just be aware that you may run into a passing shower here, especially this morning. By the afternoon, it's all pretty much gone. And then, of course, it looks like for Trinity County, I've gotten you with mainly dry conditions as well. Okay, so this is the area of low pressure. It's still kind of hovering over Southern California, giving them the rainfall. That'll be pushing eastward today. We're going to begin to see some of that rainfall in parts of Arizona. In the meantime, this is what we've got our eyes on this morning. You see this weak cold front. This doesn't have a lot of rain associated with it, but it could, again, bring us a stray shower. Once that passes, I mean, pretty much almost all bets are off for any more rainfall behind that. So let's take a look at Futurecast, and there it is. You see that weak kind of system. You see how it just breaks apart. So yes, early in the morning and through the morning hours, maybe Del Norte and Humboldt counties. If it makes its way into Trinity County, I'd be surprised. I think most of it by noon hour, as you can see, is in Siskiyou County. But again, you have to really look hard to see where the dots of rain and not to mention the higher elevation snow is. And then we can see some of that going to kind of clip parts of Modoc County as well. But otherwise, it's dry to the south of that, even into the eastern mountains for today, right? Then we take you into Saturday. Well, you got plenty of sunshine. Looks like a gorgeous kind of last-minute shopping type of day. Of course, last-minute shopping would be on Sunday because that's the day. This is Christmas Eve that we're looking at right here. So notice we actually have this disturbance right here. Now, there's going to be another weak disturbance, much like the one moving through today, that I think will impact especially the coast. But I think this will pretty much break apart. Parts of it may kind of impact parts of Trinity County, but this system, again, on Sunday is just not very impressive. Okay, so we take you into your Christmas day. There's the cold front approaching. Now, I don't really agree with this solution, but it is showing that Monday afternoon that we could see a little piece of energy break off from the main cold front here. I don't think that's going to happen. I think really we'll be looking at mainly dry conditions for everyone, most likely on Christmas Day. Then you can kind of see how that breaks apart. It's not really until Wednesday of next week that we got a better potential for some of that shower activity here. Now, this is what I was talking about, the trend, because I'm going to take you through the end of next week and into that next weekend. See how that pushes out. It's dry Thursday. It's dry even Friday. It's not until Saturday that we can be looking at the potential for more rain. And I say Saturday, a week from this upcoming Saturday. But notice the trend. We're looking out over the Pacific. You see how we have just these storms that are just kind of riding here along the jet stream. And as long as we have that jet stream positioned just right, these storms can kind of travel into Northern California. Now, if you have been following social media over the last week or so, there's been talk about a very wet weather pattern coming in toward the end of this month and early next year. Now, as you can see here, we're still seeing support for that. I wouldn't say for very wet month, and that's the thing that's frustrating. Because when you're looking out 3 to even 4 weeks out, and you see a pattern like this, and you start saying, yes, it's going to be super wet at the end of the month and at the beginning of the year, right? And then when you kind of look at it, you're saying, well, it's not really super wet. I think we will see periods of rain. We will see bigger periods of kind of breaks between that rain. So again, you see, this is what it looks like a week from Saturday. This will probably be coming into that next Monday, and then maybe a couple of days after that, this could be coming in. And there's probably even more coming in behind that. So yes, kind of what I usually call a parade of storms, but unfortunately those parade floats aren't very close to each other. So what we see here is we look at the precipitation outlook. Quite honestly, I don't really agree with this a whole lot. Yes, there's that chance for rain at the end of the month early next year, but I don't anticipate the chances of seeing above normal rainfall to be that high. I think we should be kind of more in these lighter shades of green, and maybe even in what we call this gray area here. This is where it's just kind of equal chances of seeing above or below normal rainfall. But yeah, there's rain in the forecast. Don't get me wrong. It's going to happen, and we're going to see it. But at this point, I am not really banking on the fact that it's going to be a lot of rainfall. And looking at the temperature outlook, it still looks to be warmer than normal. Now again, I don't want you to look at this map, because you look at this map and it looks very warm. It looks hot, right? Not necessarily the case. This is looking at the current trend and saying, hey, listen, your normal high for this type of year, okay, you have a chance of seeing above that a little bit. So, you know, if you're typically in the upper 50s, maybe you're in the low to mid 60s, right? So it's not a major increase, but it's just saying, hey, listen, your temperatures are not going to really stray too far from where we typically are this time of the year. All right, who's traveling out there today? If you're heading up north, just know that you'll be dealing with a little bit more in the way of cloud cover. There may be a few showers up there with that system that's just clipping us. But overall, you can see some of the fog. Now, when you receive fog, that's mainly for the morning hours. It dissipates by the afternoon. So if you're heading down to Sacramento, looks like that'll be the case. Now, as we go into Saturday, and I think that'll be a bigger travel day for many of you, because now the kids are getting out of school. Looks pretty good, actually, as you head northward. Clear skies. Some fog in some spots here as you're heading northward, especially closer to Portland. But heading down to the south looks pretty good as well. Cold if you're heading up to the north and east, so be prepared for those colder temperatures. All right, let's take you down to the south. And there you can see, if you're heading south today, still a chance for showers and thunderstorms. We saw that area of low pressure still over Southern California today. So if you're expected to be there later this afternoon, we could be looking at some wet weather down there. But by the time we get into Saturday, I think most of that will be off to the east into Arizona, and Southern California be looking at drier conditions, and once again, looking pretty good. Look at that in Palm Springs. Maybe grandma lives there. That's a nice place right now. 70 degrees for that daytime high. Absolutely gorgeous here. But yeah, maybe you're heading out to Phoenix or off to Arizona. Yeah, we'll be dealing with a little bit of wet weather out there as well. So yeah, it looks like we are going to be looking at some pretty decent weather for travel, but I can't promise anything as far as the overall traffic conditions and how many people are out on the roads. There have been times where I've traveled along I-5 down south the day before Christmas or even 2 days before Christmas. Insane. Sometimes even backed up traffic on I-5, as you start getting to southern parts of Southern California. So, yeah, just, it is what it is, right? Here are your wave heights. There you can see, of course, those wave heights are increasing here for today, and not to mention even your Saturday. We're not going to see much improvement there. That's why there is a small craft advisory as we look at your marine forecast here for today. North winds will be increasing today, getting up to 15 to 25 knots. Your waves from the north at 5 feet at 6 seconds, and from the northwest at 5 feet at about 13 seconds. Okay, so let's get to your forecast for today and look at that. Gorgeous. Temperatures did get up to about upper 60s in some spots for the valley, and that's something I kind of mentioned here, and looks like we'll be really close to that. We'll maybe shave off a degree or two from what we saw yesterday. Still cool in the mountains. That's pretty typical. Upper 40s, low 50s there. Low 50s in Trinity County, inland, and looks like in the mid 50s, give or take here for the coast. So your 7-day outlook, I've got your 7-day forecast here indicating that we have that slight chance. Don't cancel any outdoor plans for today for Mount Shasta or Alturas, but later on this afternoon you may see a stray sprinkle or a light shower. Dry through Monday. And it looks like as we go into your Wednesday of next week, that'll be our next chance for rain. Now, I actually had someone comment on Facebook and said, where are those lower snow levels you mentioned for the mountain communities? I never promised that. I did say that the snow levels will be lower than what we saw with this past storm, right? The snow levels were above 6,000 feet, and that actually came true. That was a verified forecast. I was actually out flying yesterday with a friend of mine. Thank you, Rich Carey, by the way. And we were out flying yesterday, and we were flying over the Trinities, and you could see that snow level. And we were looking at the altimeter on the airplane, and sure enough, those snow levels were mainly above 6,000 feet. So again, when you're talking about high snow levels like that, you drop the snow levels, 4,500 feet, that's lower than 6,000 feet. But that doesn't mean Mount Shasta is going to see snow, because Mount Shasta City, your elevation is 3,500 feet. So the snow level is going to be about 1,000 to 1,500 feet above that. And for Alturas, your snow level is about 5,000 feet on Wednesday of next week. And you're at about 4,500 feet, right? So you could see maybe a rain-snow mix, but it's not going to be a big deal. In Susanville, you could also see that rain-snow mix on Wednesday. So again, I just wanted to kind of reiterate that fact that yes, snow levels are dropping from what we saw, but that doesn't mean we're going to see a ton of snow in a lot of the lower mountain communities. All right, so let's take a look at your 7-day outlook for the valley. That's not the first day of winter. I should have taken that out of the graphic. Forget that. Take it out. All right. So today actually is the first full day of winter, by the way, because the winter solstice occurred at 7:46 yesterday evening. So actually today is the first full day of winter. So, I mean, that's a little accurate, I guess, right? We go into the weekend, temperatures are dropping a bit. And Christmas Day, there's Santa coming down your chimney, but that would probably be closer to, say, Christmas Eve, right? But there's that chance for showers for the valley come Wednesday. All right, here's your 7-day outlook for the coast. And we do have a chance for showers, as I mentioned. Nothing to cancel on the outdoor plans over for the coast and inland areas as well. Dry for Saturday. Now, Sunday, again, another weak system could be passing through, giving us a slight chance for showers for the coast. Not to mention the inland areas, but I don't expect it to really be something to cancel on the outdoor plans over. Christmas Day looking pretty nice. And then there you can see as we go into Wednesday of next week, you've got that chance for showers. Merry Christmas, everyone, because I won't see you here in the morning until next Tuesday.